All right, hello everybody, and welcome to another Wager live stream. As we await not only Mark Midland, my colleague here at Horse Racing Nation, but also race number 7 down to the final 4 at Keeneland, the late pick 4, about to start in about 7. Oh, there's a little feedback. Double. Good to know it's working on the tube of you. You don't need to hear me in the Lou Gehrig echo, though. I'm going to pull up the live feed so you don't also have to look at me as deeply. But I thought this was a pretty interesting race because we have a couple first-time starters that I think make a lot of sense here. And among them were a couple that not either. Among those first-time starters were a couple that I thought factored pretty well in here. Unfortunately, my top pick is number 4, and that horse is taking a little bit of money. Don't worry about nothing. Was 9-2 on the morning line, currently down to 9-5. The pick N odds, so looking ahead, to what the double and pick 3 will pays, say probably get a little bit of a drift on this one, up to 2, maybe 5-2. What's interesting to me is that number 7, Life's Reward, who was shorter on the morning line, currently pretty much co-favored, and the multi-race wagers say he will actually be the favorite come post time. So we'll see if that actually materializes. I did prefer the 4 to the 7, in part, admittedly, because of the morning line. Thought if this is accurate, I don't think they're that far apart, 9-2 versus 5-2. But the other thing is I definitely like inside posts for first-time starters. Now, 6 furlongs, you got a long run at Keeneland, so not as big a deal as at 4.5, where you're basically starting on the turn and it's 2-year-olds. But nevertheless, the inside's been good, and with the rain, I saw no reason not to stay inside at the price. But 3-2 currently. Don't worry about nothing. Would not be a play for me, though I did pick on top. Mark, welcome. What'd you think of the start to the pick 4?
It looks muddy.
Happy to not have to be out there traipsing in silks, that's for sure.
Yeah. I like the 9 white whale a little bit. I mean, 5-1. I thought that was a fair price.
Yeah.
That's tough when you're seeing a first timer get hit that much, like the 4. But it's, Irad and Wesley Ward's been doing all right with firsters.
Right.
So, but that's mostly with 2-year-olds. This is an older horse, or 3-year-old at least. So I would be inclined to stick with the 9 and kind of fade the 4 here at 8-5.
Yeah, at the price, I agree. And White Whale was 8-1 morning line and had a couple of scratches. I actually thought White Whale would be closer in price to the firsters than others who have ran. Of those who have run, they're betting Il Cavallino, the number 1 horse. I don't see it. I did not use this horse on my pick 5. So at 7-2, 4-1, I'm happy to let beat me.
Yeah, and what was your take on the 7?
I did use. I mean, they both had 4 stars now. A little bit of red boarding, but we weren't on the air, so you would have known either way. I did not like the favorite at all in the first leg, so I was comfortable here using both first timers, even knowing that didn't look like there was a lot from what we've seen of the runners. So I figured they'd get bet. So I did pretty much. Well, I tripled the cost of my ticket instead of just singling because I used 479 here. But I kind of thought being against the favorite in leg 1 allowed me to use some prices here, and I didn't like the favorite in the last leg either.
Yeah.
I used both. I mean, they both had 4 stars, and I just did not like any of the runners except the 9. So
okay. Let's talk about the last for a second because that kind of bats clean up here in the pick 4. Who did you like in the last?
I mean, I did use a bunch just because I felt like if I'm going to not use the short prices, so pick 4 wise, and I am a believer in the Chad Brown horse in the 9th, so that was another factor of wanting to get creative in the 10th. But Finn McSorley, I mean, I can't imagine this horse is going to be 30-1, but and the rain is, in my mind, just bolstered my opinion because English Channel has solid numbers in the off-going for turf. But I mean, the races at the fairgrounds weren't bad. I mean, I guess this is a step up. It's Kentucky turf racing. The purse is a lot bigger. The horse has been in the race, made a move at some point. I mean, it didn't work out. He's been incredibly six times in a row. But the numbers are competitive here. 3rd off the layoff. I mean, if there's any improvement and maybe the yielding course is what does it, he's not impossible. So I'm going to watch the board, but hopefully I'm live and don't need to worry about a win bet. But that's who I took on top.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I definitely would look at that horse like my tries and supers. I really like the 3 in there, Sardis for Maker, and size is up 10-1. Closed at Gulfstream on a really wide trip with no pace. And then just kind of seeing how the track's playing, and that last turf race was kind of forward. Pratt picks up the mount on the 12 at 30-1, and I think he's going to get this horse forward. And if Pratt can work out some magic, I don't think it's the worst play at 30-1 morning line. That is.
That's not Sardis. Who's the 30-1 horse?
The 12.
Oh, the 12. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, so I'm going to go 3-12 there.
3-12. Okay, I thought I heard you say Sardis.
The three's kind of my A play, and then
the
12 is a little bit of like.
I have certainly the 3 on my tickets is why I did not use the 12. So might be a rare hedge for me if I'm lucky enough to get to that point because Yeah, I mean, it's shown speed. I get it. You know, the race at Turfway synthetic, that's easy to draw a line through. So
You're not a big believer in hedging?
no, I'm not. My issue with hedging is you don't. There's no you never hedge your first in the first leg. So you're.
Right.
But I mean, I do think, especially look, a pick five. You've been through 4 races. Things change. I'm not saying you should always stand pat. I don't like purposefully betting horses you absolutely do not like to lock in anything.
Right.
I think if you're going against your ticket, so to speak, it should be because, oh man, front runners just can't lose, or a jockey change.
Right.
Even there are things that happen that you need to be nimble. But and I mean, this example, 30-1 horse that someone's handicapping, I appreciate, likes. So
All right. Well, good luck, everybody, in the 7th. And we're already off.
we're off. Not the greatest of breaks for either of the first-time starters.
No, it's at 159 out on the lead.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, 7's way back. 4's in a race of his own with 2 others who aren't going to be doing anything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not the worst spot for the 9 and the 11 stalking there in 4th. All right, let's see how we finish up here.
7's making a move. I mean, I guess he would be much the best. He was wide the whole way. But I guess he's much the best. That's
somebody's coming with him though.
Yeah, 21-1.
Wowza, 21-1. All right.
Just like that, I'm out. I should have hedged with that horse.
Cherie DeVoe.
Sure. Oh, she's back.
She's back, yeah. Will to prepare. Game winner.
Game winner. 13% Mud Sire. Giants Causeway. I mean, got the better ride for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looked like Chalk was getting into gear there, and then.
Yeah. Did you see how fast they were going? It looked like maybe like the 159 were all going a little bit too fast for the.
I didn't. Yeah, and I didn't see.
They kind of wilted. But 21-1. Wow, that'll kind of blow things up here on the closing day. Tickets.
Yeah. Mandatory payout. So.
Well, I don't think we're in 4 or 5 territory yet.
Well, pick 6.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. I did not play the pick 6, so I wasn't thinking that.
No, nor I. All right.
Well, yeah, that'll key up some big tickets.
Guess it's a get out pick 3.
Yes. But we'll have more time to talk about the pick 3 now.
That's right.
Starting with the Bewitched, starting with a grade 3.
Love it.
Well, it feels like everything's going on now. Like we've got Keeneland closing today, Churchill opening tomorrow night, Derby in a week, Preakness Future Wager today, coast to coast.
Some Hong Kong Group 1s.
3 Group 1s for Hong Kong on Saturday night. That's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, got for those who just cannot get enough of the live stream, you can join Mark and Keith Bush. And I uploaded the old. Oh no, that's the right one with the
that's the right one.
Separated. Yeah, the other one looked like it said is.
Yeah.
So 11:30 tomorrow. Hit big at the nighttime tracks. Woodbine opens. during the day. Got a new track there to watch, and then Mark and Keith will take you through those Group Ones. What does the FWD stand for?
I was asking. I think it's a sponsor.
Oh, okay.
So, would you like a sure thing at Hong Kong?
Always. I didn't know they had those there. I thought the racing was so competitive.
They do. So, in the Group One turf sprint, I think it's the chairman's prize sprint prize. There's a horse named Kaya Rising that is 12 for 14 lifetime, and he's 2-5 on the morning line. And the article on Horse Racing Nation said he got a sweet
I know
post.
that's right.
So
Okay.
12 of 14, and he's got a nice post, and he's 2-5 on the morning line. So I think you can use him with confidence. He's
2-5.
He's a dominant sprinter.
So like the next Silent Witness.
I mean, I don't know
Remember that horse?
A little, not really. Was that?
He was a gelding. I forget what his birth name was, but like this was back when it was kind of a big deal when they would import horses from Australia.
Okay.
But he was. I mean, he won a ton in Hong Kong turf sprinting. So, what's this horse's name?
Ka Ying Rising.
All right. And Keith's seal of approval as well?
I think it's everyone's seal of approval when you start looking at his numbers and his PPs and all that. But he's fun to watch, and you could single him on top or in a double or a pick 3 or something. I think he's in about race 4. So, but yeah, they've got some really good racing over there, and it starts at 12:45 Eastern. So we're gonna do like a little bit of a lead in and get into some Hong Kong.
All right. Well, I'll be tuning in.
All right. Well, that $44 horse, that was definitely a surprise there.
Yes. Did have 3 stars. Unfortunately for my usage, 3 others in the race did as well. So I just kind of felt like, in that situation, I couldn't get there, but that rating system at least didn't think impossible. So
Yeah.
might be something to saying 21-1 could have been worth a use there, but yeah, didn't sniff that one out.
No, me neither. And I think with these Cherie Deveau firsters, it's like she leads them over, and they're all kind of maybe needing a race, but they do pop like that from time to time.
Yeah. No, and he was the only horse above 6-1 that ran at all. The others were all behind the favorite. Rail Horse didn't do much, but as you noted, it's kind of hot up front. So potentially hot. We never actually saw the time, but it looked honest at the very least.
Right. Yeah, no, it looked like they were moving pretty good, but sometimes it can be deceiving. So, well, at least I'm not out of the turf pick 3.
That's right. That's it's one of the things I have noticed as what's a silver lining with the turf pick 3 is if you get the next race wrong after leg 1, the next race usually isn't a part of it. So
yeah, I mean, it's nice to skip a race, and have different things going for sure.
We do have one comment in from the YouTube, and obviously anyone chime in, whether it's about the Bewitch or other races. But William wanted to note he's back in the land of the rising sun, and I think we're all eager to see Luxor Cafe do a little more in the mornings. This was his second morning on the track, and Kate Hunter hinted that I might see a workout this weekend, and she also mentioned that look a little different than what we're used to thinking a workout is, but I think a lot of people are eager to see what Luxor Cafe looks like stretching his legs at Churchill, and I'm the more things go on, and I just don't love that he arrived this week, Mark. I just think that's asking a lot.
You don't love that what?
He arrived this week.
Oh, you mean because he was in Chicago and then quarantining and all
Yeah,
that?
I think flying to Chicago, quarantine, shipping down. It's almost any other race. I would say the horses are used to it, and we've seen Japan ship all over the world. I get it. I just think the Derby is another level type race where any starch taken out of you is one starch too many.
I don't know. I've seen you ship out to Vegas and do pretty well. Hold your
Yeah, well, I can look good, the first couple days, but when showtime hits, that's a different
yeah. There you
ball
go.
game. But I mean, he's not a toss. Where I would say admire Daytona, I just don't think is good enough. But to me, I'll need to be right about pretty much everything else if Luxor Cafe is in there.
Yeah, and what type of odds do you anticipate on Luxor Cafe? Not that we want to get into debate.
Actually, Candace just sent me my odds graphic, so we can I'll pop it in.
Ed's fair odds or predicted odds?
Well, Candace being the ace that she is, now that we're down to the nitty gritty, she has put them together. So you can compare. So Luxor Cafe, number 19. I have 15-1 projected odds. Fair 16. So actually, by no means anywhere near the bigger underlays. I think there will be in this race. But like I said, I'll still need to be right. Like it can't come Luxor Cafe and Grande and East Avenue like that. That would be a miss. But especially if Chunk of Gold's in there, which you may notice, like odds wise, an underlay in the win spot. But as you and I always talk about, like for me, the thing with Chunk of Gold is recognizing he's sort of at a separator level price, and just with his style and what I think his ceiling is, I think there is value in slotting him underneath.
So your fair odds is 38-1. So he's a bet at 40-1, but not at 35.
Well, I mean, a win. If I were a CRW, he would be a bet at 40 and not 35. That's correct. But like I said, the utility for Chunk of Gold for me is I think he's going to play like a 30-1 in all pools. And even though I don't love him to win as much as I do in other positions, I feel like since I'm on journalism, who's going to be the chalk, Sovereignty and Rodriguez, who are going to be in the mix as, sort of the third and fourth choices. To me, Chunk of Gold is like that overlay underneath that makes it worthwhile using the favorites.
So you're saying, okay. And so you're saying journalism 3-1 favorite, Sandman 6-1, Sovereignty 8-1. Seems a little high on Sovereignty.
The morning line?
The projected morning
projected, line. Yeah. I mean, I've heard chatter about journalism being 5-2. So that means a few have to go up from there. The other part of this is I didn't make anyone more than 50 because they wouldn't be, a real morning line wouldn't do that.
Sure.
For better or worse. So, that's a point here or there that maybe gets a horse like Sovereignty down to 6. The other thing, and I do this with our, when I tweak the AI line for Santa Anita and Colonial and soon to be Louisiana Downs, I do try to take a stand on the lower end in terms of here's the favorite, here's the second choice.
Yeah.
So for that reason, you can't make a horse 7 in American morning lines. So that's kind of why I went 6-8. If I really thought, man, Sovereignty is going to be 6-1, then at that point, I'm either making Sandman 5, which felt too short, or he's 8, and that feels too long. So they'll probably both be somewhere in the middle of that, though.
Yeah, that's probably about right. I mean, I would maybe tend to flip the two, go Sovereignty at 6 and Sandman at 7.
Yeah. Like Travis said yesterday, I mean, it seems like more people are on sovereignty among our peer group. So, I'm kind of relying rightfully or wrongfully on the Buzz and the Gray and the Metallica, but you're certainly correct based on what our friends and colleagues are saying.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, it's a deeper race than I think most years. There's a lot of horses you can kind of try to make an argument for. I'm not disagreeing with what you've got there, but Citizen Bowl should have a Baffert at 20-1. That's really, on paper, really just ran a bad race last time. There's going to be a lot of horses taking action for sure.
Yep. No, and I believe this year they are repeating what they did last year with the windows wagering on the Derby opening on Tuesday.
Okay.
So, and I was skeptical. I was like, oh, how much are we going to learn from this? And, obviously there were some adjustments throughout the week, but it held pretty steady. Like, maybe the actual like odd number definitely changed, but you got a sense pretty quickly of, okay, who's going to be bet here and to what level.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, I love that they do that. I think.
I mean, how much did it change? Do you remember?
I don't. I mean, shame on me because I love it so much. Like that's typically the thing I would keep track of, day to day, and look at the pool and the percentage of pool. And I didn't. Might have to bug someone who does keep track of stuff like that to revisit it. But it was, for 20 horses, I think 2 or 3 were noticeable differences by Derby Day. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I thought it'd be more. I thought we'd see, the casual horses that people would get bet, and guys like us are waiting until Saturday anyway. So that didn't happen that way.
Yeah, I mean, at some point there's just so much money in there, right? It's like it can't change that much.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Tuesday and Derby Saturday. But
all right.
3 now.
Now we got the Get Out Pick 3.
The last stakes of the day.
So it seemed like the 2 and 3
kind of,
what's that?
I said last stakes of the day, but I meant the meet.
Yeah. It seems like the 2 and the 3 kind of stand out here, at least on the morning line. Thought the 7 was like the logical other horse, and it's really taking a lot of money at the moment.
The 7 is?
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring up my fair odds here and got stymied. Oh, wow. 2-1. Yeah. I wouldn't have expected that.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I get like that it would take some. I'm surprised to see it that low. What do the will pays say?
The 3 is definitely favored. 7.
Yeah, even I guess the 7 was 4-1 morning line, so I shouldn't be surprised at 3-5 projected based on the will pays. But I do like the favorite. I had his most likely winner. I mean, you could see I actually like 2 others more than Eternal Silence. I have a 10-1. So yeah, that's a complete toss for me, taking that kind of action. And I would say 4, 8, 9, and I'll fire up the AmWager Dutching tool because I think there's some opportunity here. With the 3 in the mix and 4, 8, 9, and toss the 7. I might even be willing to use the 2 with the 7 taking that kind of money. Excuse me.
Sorry, I got video going here. Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to separate the 2 and the 3 too much as far as like, the horizontals and stuff like that. But yeah. So you thought the 3 was a clear favorite over the 2?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, they're both pretty good. Yeah, I think
2-1. I'm saying wins a third of the time. 4-1 was my fair odds on the 2, so that's 20%. So yeah, I'm saying 50% more likely winner, basically, a little more.
Okay.
which when you put it that way sounds like a lot, but out of 100 wins 13 more times. And I'm getting exactly on my fair value, but like I said, I thought 4-8. Well, the eight's out, so I thought 4-9. They're 8 and 12 to 1. I'd much rather use either of them than the 7.
Yeah, I was just going to use the 2-3 and then take the L and move on if it doesn't work out that way.
Yeah,
But
I'm a little surprised. That box is pretty hammered. Like touching it pretty much at best gets me 2 to 5. So that's not going to be something I do.
mhm.
I can, but if I take the 2 out of the top spot, I get it up to 3 to 2, which considering the 3 itself is 2 to 1. You get 9 exacta combinations with it for 3 to 2. That's not too bad. Is this too short a field for you to super?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't. I would want at least usually 9 or 10, unless like something like stone cold and I'm just kind of goofing around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What'd you think of the next? That was you said the Chad Brown.
Yeah, that was one of those. Like, I mean, sometimes there's an instance. I forget which day it is at Churchill next week, but there's an instance where like there's a clear comeback horse like that, superior class, best races are fastest. But you have one alternative where you're like, yeah, this is the one that could do it. And I always feel better about that because you can just narrow on that horse and you're going to get your price because they're going to overbet the celebrity,
Mm-hmm.
the no name. But this one with Chad, I just had no other like, well, if it's not Chad, it's definitely this one. And I'll gamble in those situations and play against, but and not saying I'm going to bet Chad to win now, but I was comfortable singling just because I was against the favorites in the first and fifth leg. Unfortunately, was not in the second leg.
Yeah.
That would have been a nice long shot, and then you root home a 2 to 5 Chad, who was a stakes winner at Saratoga. Not a bad spot to be in. So if you're live, good luck getting through here, but. I thought the Chad horse was just better than those and is here with a purpose.
What about the 3? That was the only one that I kind of thought
In the
was.
eighth, yeah, a buddy of mine actually said the same, and pull up my notes here.
Just like a B, like.
Yeah, I mean, and Ian won a race already on the card with his son-in-law. No less, he gets a rod here. I mean, unmatched wisdom at this distance, and then off the layoff, especially. I thought it was interesting in his first few career starts. He, showed some speed and did not, for whatever reason, in the next two, where he took some money against really good horses, and the pace ratings went down. I just think he tailed off. But that was another reason I was so bullish on him, as he showed he can, win out of the box. And his 2 best races were his first 2 career races. I'm hoping we see sort of that same presence here. And my thought on Bourbon Resolve is if we do, he's just going to have way too much to do.
Have we seen
But
this
like you
dirt?
said, depending on what you're using here and in the last leg of the pick 3, if you
Yeah.
can get to other horses to beat unmatched wisdom, I get it.
Well, we saw a deep closer won the maiden race 7.
Uh-huh.
The 3 closed in race 6, right?
Race 6.
And
Yes, that's right.
I missed a couple of the early ones. Race 3 and 4. Who won those?
Yeah, I also I signed on basically for the pick five. So
Yeah, that could have been speed. I'm not sure about race 3, and then I don't know if anybody saw it. In race 4, the 7 was on the lead. So okay, but a couple speed horses, a couple closers. The 2 to 5 clear speed in the first got run down and run down by a couple horses. So that's what got me thinking that the track might be a little slow. And I think the 2-year-olds came off the pace as well. So quite a few races have come off it. So I just mentioned that in relation to the 8th. I'm sorry, the 9th. I mean, there's some pace in there. And the, I mean, Pratt obviously as good as it gets, but the Chad could be a little forward. So that was.
What's your morning line price?
On the Wilkes?
Yeah.
9-2.
Let's see if we can get a sense of how they're betting the double here. I mean, unmatched wisdom in the double is it's like 4 to 5. So
yeah, makes sense. I mean, but he's definitely more forward, and he's got to deal with the 4 and the 9.
Right.
That's why I was just thinking, like, if it comes off a little bit, I think the 3 is the logical, the next play.
Yeah. I think the 4 is my key here.
In the turf race?
Yeah. 3-4 something, 3
Okay.
something 4, that type of.
Yeah, this 4 was interesting, I thought. Coming from all those synthetic races, one on the turf in Indiana at 3 to 5, but not bad.
There's something there.
I was going to go narrow in the last, so that helps too, maybe. Just try to go narrow with like the 312, I think.
Not going to use my 10?
No, I'll use them when we get to the race, but I'm not going to use them.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not going to use them in the pick 3. But I like where you're going, and English channels definitely do love the soft turf, and it's not the worst idea by any means.
Yeah, but for sure, like the 7 and 11 is too short on the morning line for my liking.
Yeah, we got all kinds of stuff going. We got the coast to coast going off in 5 minutes.
Wow.
Late pick 3. And it keeps going tomorrow, right?
Don't stop.
Exactly.
Don't stop. Yeah, I think
I'm gonna stick with the 2-3. I don't know. Well, maybe the 4's worth a B. I don't know.
a B is in a pick end. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's a B.
It's like just to touch it a little
That's
bit.
how I use it in a pick end. I used it as a B. But is the A key underneath forever after all? For me.
Is the A key underneath? Yeah, I see what you're saying. All right. Yeah. So my pick 3, I'm just going to go 2-3. I'll touch the 4 once. 2-3 with 1-3 with 3-12. And it's the get out to meet play, right? So it's more than just the get out.
Yeah, I don't know if can be creative enough in this race, but maybe a trifecta parlay.
A trifecta. I don't have to get out that bad for the meet.
Oh, okay.
It's not that gross, but
Yeah, me neither. Any sort of score would. No, I'd probably say I need a big score to call it a good meet. But I mean, for me, well, you too. I mean, we both mentioned a 30-1 horse in the last, so
yeah. All right. Well, good luck everybody in the Bewitch, and hopefully you can get a pick 3 started here as we finish out the meet. And again, I'm 2-3 here with 1-3 in the next, and I'm going to single the 3 mostly in the last, and then use the 12 as sort of a B.
All right. I had the 3 as an A in the last as well. So you and I are simpatico there.
Who are your other A's in the last?
10 for sure, and the 8. They're off, so I'm gonna vamoose this.
Okay.
You're watching at home. Keep watching from home.
Yeah, typical. I mean, I guess we're looking at 1.5 on the soft turf, so that can be. We got the 1 on the lead.
With the 1 on the lead. 4 is tracking, which is definitely part of what I liked. Not sure you want to be that wide in a 3-turn race, but horse is pretty keen, so don't like that either. At least they didn't go too fast. Yeah. But yeah, fighting like that, 1.5 miles.
It's kind of a nice
not over the moon with it.
For the 2's in a really nice spot.
Yes.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting out the Wager Dutching tool for this late double, and I think that's going to be pretty cool. That could definitely be our get out play. 24-49. That seems pretty fair for what we've seen. You know.
No, I've seen 6 furlong will tell the tale after 41 and 2. I mean, 4's fought, but 9 starting to get in touch. 1 and 6 were the 2 I thought were the ones totally overmatched. But credit to the rail horse here. He's not wanting to go away. See what the
but that's a long way to go. They slowed it down a little bit there.
They sure did. 26 and 3.
Yeah.
7 popped out. I guess he's going to make the first move.
I read and Pratt on the 2 and the 3. I read's got some horse there.
Nope. 7's going to the crop.
I read looks like he's got a lot of horse on this 3. And
shame the 4 has nothing, because I think we know who the winner is.
He's just skipping over that soggy turf course, huh?
Man.
Am I ahead of you?
I don't know how far ahead you'd have to be for me still not to know who the winner of that's going to
be. Yeah, that wasn't too close. 9-5, 9-5. Who was favored? The 3, slightly.
Yeah, that was. Ooh, much the best.
All right. Well, my turf pick 3's alive. Chalk.
There you go.
Well, co-chalk.
Yeah.
7-2.
But you used the 12, right?
No, that was my late edition
Oh,
based on how the track was playing. So, yeah. Let's see. Let's see what I did there. No, I singled the 3.
well, that's still.
Yeah, I mean, he was
opportunity.
like, what's that?
I said that's still opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, 10-1 morning line, Mike Maker and Luis Saez. I thought that was some value. So I was good with that. You know, and again, like we keep saying, these turf pick 3s and coast to coast cross country wagers. There's just so much value in these wagers that skip consecutive, races at one track, and they just pay better. And like we've said many times, we track the coast to coast. We've helped kind of promote the coast to coast, which is a great wager. The dollar pick 5 at 15%.
No CRW.
And yeah, no CRW, and they just pay great. I think it was, what was the stat? Like 40% of them paid 3 times the parlay, and 60% of them paid 2 times the parlay or more. So yeah, it's a great wager. All right, let's see, and then Mike Shuddy, our super screener author, was saying that there's some really nice value races tomorrow. A couple full fields at Santa Anita that could pay well, and so I think there's like 13 on a turf stake, which would be great. And then yeah, let's talk about the super screener for a minute.
Sure.
And we did that video. I was gonna say earlier in the week, but I guess that was yesterday, wasn't it?
It's Derby week.
With Travis Stone, and so if anyone wants to check it out, Ed, Travis, and I go through the entire Derby field horse by horse, and that's up on our YouTube channel. And that was a lot of fun. It was fun going through every horse, and if anybody wants a good diverse set of opinions, kind of talking through, I think it was kind of fun because it's still early enough that we're still open to some ideas and opinions, not like dead set, right, and locked in. Although you guys have done a couple of shows, right?
Yeah, it's I'm starting to, especially the ones in front of a live audience, starting to get a gauge for like what opinions people are responding to or not.
Do they ooh and ah when you say Final Gambit?
With the one we did with the Courier Journal, which for those out in non-Kentucky land, that's the Louisville newspaper. But they show the replay of the key preps, and then we talk about the horses in those preps as it relates to Derby. So a good way to sort of juggle the order and get people watching the races, and the audience there, it's just definitely casual. They want to get caught up on Derby news, not your hardcores. But that Final Gambit move definitely, I would say, of any other race, elicited like that was visually impressive to the crowd, which it was visually impressive. So I don't want to take that away from the horse, but yeah. But yes, when they watch the replay, they're like, it's like they're seeing it which they are seeing it for the first time in many cases, and you definitely get the raw emotion of how they respond to it. So it's cool to see.
Yeah, for sure. Here, I will share screen here and just
take this
one of the things we were talking about.
That's just the screener package. To go to picks.horseracing.nation.com. got the Triple Crown all as one, and the Derby is already available. So and will be updated. I think that's cool that Mike gets out in front of it, and this is one of the things included in that. So we'll be updated as we go along.
Yeah, and it's just such a great tool for handicapping the Derby, and breaks out, basically takes a look at every horse and compares it to, the 20-year trends and trends over the last 5 to 10 years, and what basically how you want to be coming into the Derby, what kind of style and speed numbers you need. If you're a speed horse, if you're a closer, if you're a pace presser, breaks out the race like this where you can kind of see, these are the different ways you can kind of start slicing the race and really kind of give you an advantage and some insights that you need if you're handicapping 20 horses and legitimately trying to address all 20. And every year there's always one or two long shots that get in there, and so that you can't play 10 long shots. So the question is, like, how do you get it down to those one or two or maybe three at the most that really have a shot? I know, like we talked about it, we're kind of both on Chunk of Gold. Ran some really nice races at the fairgrounds, and hoping to catch up with Ethan West tomorrow. So I'd love to kind of hear from him, his take on how Chunk of Gold's coming into the Derby, and
he's shipping in tomorrow.
Yeah.
They
all are. They have to be. I think he's shipping in today, and then I'm going to go out tomorrow, unless it's raining like this.
That's pretty nasty out. A few of these aren't running. Interestingly enough, the first two I see are toward the top, Presser, and I've heard people are starting to notice. Scott Shapiro mentioned it on a video he did. I know Travis has talked about it. Like, there's certainly pace. I think even Neokwas, there's chatter about him going. Owen Almighty is not on here. At the time, he was not under consideration, but Built is out, Owen Almighty's in, so that's kind of a swap. All that's to say, we know there's pace, we know there's closers. There definitely seems to be sort of this, okay, well, who's going to make the first move? And maybe like Rodriguez is here, but he won gate to wire last time. It really sort of boosts my confidence in a horse like Journalism, because he's going to be in a tier with maybe not as much traffic.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Like, there could be a nice spot there, and not too far back. I think, ultimately it should help all the horses coming off the pace. But the challenge also is we don't want Rich Strike, right? Like, well, unless you're betting on him.
I mean, maybe Chunk of Gold's a Rich Strike light, but yeah, I probably don't want him to win. I'll let you know after the Old Forester if I want him to win, but more than likely I'll want him second or third.
Yeah, and that's where it's like, I don't know. I think people are just talking about the Rich Strike thing for a second. I mean, to me, he won because he was a closer that could handle dirt, and he was 22 lengths off of fast pace. So that's my point about not wanting Rich Strike is, if you like Journalism or somebody like that, you don't want the pace so fast that it brings 40 to 1 closers into the race because they started 12 lengths behind Journalism. But to each his own,
That's right.
All right. Well, that's just one tool, the race dynamics from the Super Screener, and Mike does a great job with that. He puts together suggested exactas, trifectas, superfectas, and all kinds of stuff. I've had some really great scores over the years. Helped me win a bunch on Derby many times, and I wouldn't handicap the Derby without it.
Yeah,
and you can get the Super Screener at picks.horseracingNation.com.
That's the big thing, for me. Obviously, you and I'm sure both take a lot of pride in being able to look at a race and talk eloquently of it and having opinions. And but the analysis with the wagering strategy, it's like I say having a conversation with Mike Shuddy, which is invaluable. And just those fine line decisions of, after reading his stuff, like, oh, I can't let this horse beat me. Or, maybe I'm on the fence if, publisher is a horse, like I could see maybe using underneath, I'm sort of leaning against, eager to see what he has to say, but, maybe that's an upgrade, or maybe he doesn't like him at all. And that's sort of the push, like, okay, I know he and I kind of look at races similarly in some ways, and he's off this horse. I'm going to focus on my capital elsewhere and not worry about it. And, obviously it doesn't work out every time, but to me, it's so much more than just, oh, who does Super Screener like? That's important too, but the wagering stuff, especially when you're talking about 20 horses and the combinations get so exponential, to me, that's where it's worth its weight.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's talk about this late double, and I'm going to break out the Amwager Dutching tool.
All right.
And I think I know what I want to do. So I was hoping you could talk me through
Sure.
it, since you're definitely the expert here. So basically, if I punch the double, and I'm just going to go 1-3 with 312, taking a shot on Pratt on this 30-1. And all right, so I go Dutch.
Yep.
And then, okay, that resent my pick. So okay, I gotta do it again. 1-3, 312, and let's just say putting $50 in. So 1,000 ROI. So that's 10-1, 9-1.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. 10. That's basically 10-1. And if you click the plus to the right of total, it'll actually tell you what the range is.
Oh, okay.
What it's putting on each combo. Sweet. So, you're between 484 and 579. So yeah, anywhere between 9 and almost 11-1.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. I like how it could, shows you the potential payoffs, and then those will update, right? Like as we're talking
in real time. You don't need to like push a button again. And I use this. I mainly focus on win. Matt Miller and I have that in common when I play cash tournaments. Just very rarely see, where an opinion, I'm getting the necessary reward for the added risk of not just playing to win. But one of the ways I discern that is using this tool. Oh, I really like this horse at 2-1. Could get me into a scoring position. If a win bet isn't enough, that's where it's like, okay, what exacta or what kind of double do I need to play? What's the capital involved? And, to me, if I'm using more than half the capital chasing an exotic, I'd rather just take the chance and bet to win. So this really helps me figure that out. And I don't think I've needed it for Twin Spires. Those have kind of been rocking. When I've done well and not had to worry about like gamesmanship. But when I qualified for the NHC, I used the Dutching tool to figure out what I needed to hit in the last race at whatever fair track was running in Northern California. Cool. And I wouldn't have got there without it, because when you play it, whether it's the track or Twin Spires ADW, they don't have these tools. So, an exacta, if you're keen over 3 horses for $120, the easiest thing to do, and what most people do, of course, is $40. But with the Dutching tool, like, oh, I only need 20 on this combo, 50 on this one, and then what's the difference at that point? 50 on the other one. And to me, that's huge in a contest environment, because you're so focused on the score you need, and not kind of leaving it to the randomness of playing a key where you're equally suited. So Dutching tool, beyond just making the wagers, really helps you focus on your opinion and where the overlays are.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like the one, obviously at even money really takes a lot of takes a lot of it. If I keyed the 3, now we're at 42 to 1. That's definitely a different story.
Right. Yeah, and yeah, that means basically he's 20 to 1 in your double, right? Because even money on the front end, and he's not going to be that. So you're definitely adding to it.
Yeah. Huh. I might just single the 3 because I'm still alive. Let's see. What's the turf pick 3 will pays? They're probably not great.
Yeah.
3 is 357.
Pretty flat. I guess a couple outliers.
And 12 is really nice.
What's the 12?
Shouldn't touch that. What's that? That's my Pratt horse.
No, I mean what was it?
1885.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's cut off there. Sorry. Well, that's handy though. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm starting to get a little chilly on this Chad horse.
I mean the money isn't showing. I know the morning line was 6 to 5, but I mean this horse is supposed to be 3 to 5 if he's ready, right?
Yeah, could be. Let's see that the AI line for HRN says it says it goes off of 4 to 5. It says that's what he's worth.
Yeah, I mean the double imputed say he'll be 4 to 5, but
Then he'll
I
probably
don't
come
know.
down.
I know we're here to gamble. I mean, I wouldn't have any problem being live to him, after the 21 to 1, won the second leg and beat the favorite in the first leg. But I feel like it's a wait for me until Finn McSorley in the next.
You mean just wait on this leg and just sit it out?
Yeah. And I mean, I did play a pick 3, 3, 1, 10 for a couple bucks. So,
Yeah,
I'm
alive.
then the bomb.
Yeah, I've got the 1, 3 and the pick 3. So maybe I would either do the same, either press the 3 here or just like you said, just sit it out and wait for the last. Anything else we could get in the last? So Finn McSorley was your bomb, the 10, the 12 was my bomb. I didn't hear that you were on the 7 very much, were you?
Definitely recognize he's in the mix. I just kind of felt like as good as 4 or 5 others. So at that price,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Now, we'll see what the board looks like in the next, and if the 10 or your 12 or the prices we think they'll be, then probably would definitely not let the 7 beat me out of something. But yeah, definitely, especially thinking Chalk was going to win races 8 and 9. I didn't use them at all.
And who are your other choices?
I was 10, 8, 3, 4.
Yeah, I thought that, obviously I like the 3, the 4 stretching out. Yeah, it makes sense.
Just, it's one of those, who else do I not want to not have? And after what you said, I would have sure wished I would add the 12 if I were live, but now I don't worry.
Well, you can get the double on the 12.
That's true.
That might be worth it. Yeah, I'm just looking here. I mean, the 2's not bad, but I guess he just doesn't look like he's going to win here. The 1 with Cherie with Irad up. Maybe she's starting to win here.
Yeah, I mean, you got to watch that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see like what else could be possible here.
What about Kuth in this race on the front end?
Yeah, I mean that's certainly possible. Just the way that I've seen enough closers today that I don't know that I want this horse. And then, the Mountaineer form. I just, as a rule, I never play Mountaineer form. It just.
I'm sure that rule has suited you more than it hasn't.
Yeah, it just I rather than start to look at it and go, maybe it's just that's sort of a no-fly zone for me. Not that I don't like playing Mountaineer races at Mountaineer.
Right.
I do, but yeah, I don't. The 9. I mean, showed a lot of speed in the last time in the slop. I'm not sure what Junior tries to do out there. That's a pretty fresh horse. He's actually working well. And then, like I said, you've got the Chad behind him. So I don't know that I really want to be in front of the Chad. Maybe just at a 1.8 it gets heated up, and this 3 ran a really nice race in the slop a while back. Seems to put in some really nice closing runs. So I don't know.
So you were just the 3 as the alternative here?
Yeah, I was 1 and 3.
Is Dobernell a Remsen winner?
Yes.
All right.
In the slop, no less.
Oh, well.
2 for 2 on the slop as 2-year-old.
Yeah, I didn't have anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fresh horse that you're going from, Danny Gargan to Bill Mott, so you got a fresh, change of scenery. I mean, that's not the worst idea. But I think for him to run well, you need the track to be fair. Sometimes these 1.8 races or longer can be stagger fests. I don't know. Feels like the Keeneland 1.8, though, you can close pretty well at.
Yeah.
But maybe if the 4 is a no-show, does he get in, start cruising on the outside? Pretty decent work pattern. Mott horses are usually, fairly live off a layoff.
1.8. That's a tough ask off a layoff. But several of these are been laid off various amounts of time.
What about Rambo Approved? That's a great name.
The Uruguay bred.
Nacho.
Yeah.
Nacho Correas. What's he at? $1 million to 1. Now that's a horse I could see in like a super or something or a try.
Yeah, 30 to 1. Hector Lazo, you know anything about that cat?
About the jock? No.
Not an apprentice, but hasn't started this year.
No, not familiar. Let's see. I have to look him up. I don't even know his first name. Hector Lazo.
Yeah. What'd you think I said?
Oh, I thought you said Lazo.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's not really that much else in here. He beat Jace's Road at Indiana.
oh, it's not nothing.
No, not much though. Hmm. Seven's a gun runner in the slot. Although his stats aren't really any. Most of the horses in this race, I mean, all their stats are fine in the mud, other than Rambo Approved is Sire's 0 for 4 in a dirt mud, wet route.
0 for 4?
Yeah, it's not a lot of data.
Yeah, it's not much. But hasn't happened.
All right. Well, let's see. I gotta do something with my Dutching tool here. So what we got? A minute. I'll go back to that. All right. So I'm gonna go Dutch. 4 to 5. I'm just gonna stick with my original thought. How about that?
They say think long, think wrong.
Yeah, 1 3 3 12. $50. Oh, no, I hit Dutch. All right, Dutch. $50. 1 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna
3 12.
save mine for the last.
There's my bet. I'm getting 12 to 1. That'll work, right? A bunch of $600 payouts.
Yeah.
All right, I'm doing it.
Do it.
All right. There we go. And we're almost loading in the gate here, so good luck, everybody. Yeah, I'm wondering if I should do something else, but just about off here, huh?
Yeah, running out of time. Those helmets look sharp. All right, let's look at Mark's plays. Oh, one more.
Yeah, why not?
He's in.
We'll pop it. It's the get out for the meet, right?
That's next race for me.
Well, yeah. All right. Good luck in the 9th. And then one more to go.
Well, backers of the one have to like seeing that start.
Yeah, so Pratt's not messing around. He's just getting out of there. Mountaineer horse is not even nearly fast enough. Irad's on the 3.
23 and
So
3.
He's bringing up the rail in 6th. That's not 5th or 6th.
What's your in running price on Unmatched Wisdom right now?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's about the same. I wouldn't go crazy low because I just don't know the way this track's playing.
Yeah,
I'm
fair.
probably just way overthinking that. Are you thinking he's 2 to 5 right now?
I would have said that, but I mean, he did run the second quarter in 23
Yeah, that's quick.
and 3. So, I mean, the thing is, at this point, you would think someone's going to make a move. Uh, and the only person really not working on his horse is Flavian. So,
Yeah.
but
Oh, the two's giving him quite the challenge, though. Maybe he just hasn't been asked. Whoop.
he was asked.
Whoop. All right, 4-5. Oh, now he's slipping out a little. All right, there you have it.
There you have it.
Yeah, I don't know if I love that spot on the 3. I think Irad was trying to stay in touch with the field, and I get that, but I don't know. I guess, I mean, he was already getting away with it, he was cruising on the lead, and there was not much you could do about that.
Well, I'm going to have it 5 times to the 10. Hopefully, the 30-1 gives me a root.
Have what 5 times? Pick
Just
5?
the pick 3. No,
Yeah,
pick 5. I blew it. I mean, that was one of those where it's like you put in the time, and all the firsters were at least 3 stars. I like the 2 chalks, but when you're getting 21-1 in a pick 5, like it's what you want.
Yeah, I think I've got a $20 pick 3 to the 3, so that'll be my get out.
There you go. Plus the doubles.
Plus the doubles, plus the turf pick.
The 3. Dutch Bulls.
The double Dutch.
Do you remember the carnival ride, the Dutch shoes?
No. Have you watched the Racing to the Crown on Netflix?
I'm halfway through. I've seen 3 of the 6.
And how is it so far?
It definitely picked up in the 3rd episode, and from what I hear, in the 4th one, they actually get to Churchill for like the Derby build up, and that's exciting. So, the first 2 were a slow build, to be generous. Though, it's like, what? This is not exciting. Now, I am sympathetic because I know you only have. You only get as fortunate as the people you're following winning the races and doing well. And so, that sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes they don't even make the race. So it does seem like they adapted well. Like they get on Brian and Kenny with Mystic Dan. That clearly they had pivoted because they knew they needed some horses to follow. So they were great. Like Brian, which we knew from the aftermath, not that we didn't know it before anyway, but they're media savvy. They made for some good TV, so getting them involved was definitely pick things up.
Cool. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, it's good exposure for racing. It's good to see, and hopefully people will tune in and check it out.
Yeah, no, I mean it gets you pumped up for Derby and Churchill. Also, they just put out. Looks like they're going to be much shorter episodic series, but looks like they did some vignettes with Jose Ortiz at each stop on the road, and seemed pretty candid. It's well produced, so I'm sure they edited it to we don't need boring moments with Jose Ortiz, but the first episode, which they dropped today, it was only like 4 minutes. They did a nice job. So looking forward to seeing more of those. And he's on Sandman, which they were following him last year, and the Iroquois didn't go that well, but so that'll be cool to kind of see unfold on a horse that didn't necessarily have success every race, but got there.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, so we've got
and actually they're watching me and Mark this year. It's the road to the windows.
PDT. I thought it was well done. That's
Yeah.
great.
And Keith said the same. Who again be your partner for the Hong Kong live stream tomorrow. They
Yeah.
the team responsible for the footage of racing and even just simple morning stuff, the photography involved. They really really sharp, really good job in that aspect for sure.
Yeah. That's great to hear. Looking forward to checking that out. And you said it's 6 shows.
6, yep. So I'm through 3 of them, and they're a little less than an hour each, I think. So it's a breezy watch.
A breezy watch, you said. Okay.
On that note, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna
All right.
take my parched
Well,
throat, but won't be long.
cool. Hopefully, everybody's hopefully some of you are alive as we go into the last here, and let's see, it'll be the get out race, as we say. Let's see if we can get the odds to come up. And yeah, I'll get the Will Pays up here. Let's see if I can share screen. Oh, here we go. All right, so double and pick threes. Nothing too huge, but the double to the 12, $67. To Ed's long shot, the 10, $96. We were talking about the 3 and the 4, 15 and 25. And the pick fives are, they're okay. I guess after the 6, the rest of it is pretty chalky, especially on the pick 4 there. So I can pull up the odds here. All right, perfect. So one thing that's really great on AmWager is the true odds feature here, and it kind of gives you a prediction of where the odds are going to end up. Most of them are pretty similar, but for example, the 7, 5-1 right now on the tote board. Their true odds are predicting about 7-2, which makes sense. You can kind of see that it'll come down. The 11, 2-1, predicting about 2.6, so about 5-2. So it kind of helps give you a heads up to kind of get in front of some of these odds moves. The 8, 8-1, it's suggesting 11-1, so there might be some movement there. But
Back.
Oh, you're back. All right, excellent. Just talking about the true odds, and a couple of these are set up to move a little bit. The 7's 5-1 right now. But it looks like 7 and 11 is where the wagering's going. Let's look at the Will Pays. I know they were just up on the screen, but it's easier to look here. Wow, 7 got hammered in the double, and the 11. Okay, 7 and 11. So you have the pick 3 to the 10.
Pick 3 to the 10.
And I got the 12 and the 3. 3 is, let's see. Let's go back to the doubles. So we got 7, 11, and looks like 3 is the third choice after that.
And 3 consos in the pick 5 to the 10.
3 consos, yeah. All right.
Something.
That's something to get excited about. Yeah. With the price.
Yeah, I mean, it'd probably be 800 and all said and done.
All right. What else we
Opening
got from the
night
chat?
money. Yeah, I'll be Dutching it up in this race, that's for sure.
Yeah.
especially since you like the 12. That's very usable in my mind.
Yeah, I just thought, if Pratt got this horse out, it was a little bit unclear um, who was going to be on the lead. I mean, I know the 7's got some pace. There just really wasn't that much pace in here. Plus it's soft turf, so you never know if, guys are going to rate a little bit. The other thing I liked about the 3 and the 7, I just thought the 3 could close pretty well. And the 12 would be out front. But I guess if you want to get to like who would be the deepest of the deep closers, maybe the 1.
The deepest of the deep.
Although we just
Yeah.
or the 11, but we haven't really seen that from the track today.
Turf though.
Yeah, no, I meant on the turf though. Seems like most of the winners were mid pack or forward.
Yeah, I would say even this
Well,
meet, that's been the general.
Right. I mean, only two turf races today, so shouldn't make too much of that. What else? The Browns had a big night in the NFL draft last night.
I mean, you know me, I'm on X. I'm in the mix. I didn't get any whiff of that until draft day. That was, something they were thinking about.
Yeah. I'm sure others have said it, but I've said it was the Browns' best draft day since Kevin Costner.
I mean, I think, for whatever reason, data better, just kind of know what you got out of college more so than you did. I mean, I don't mind, for what they wanted in that moment, getting the extra draft picks later and then the first rounder next year. Seems like some opportunity.
Yeah.
What about Sanders?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's interesting. He's probably drafted by now, though, right?
Maybe someone can let us know in the chat.
I can pull it up, but I want to stick to horses. All right, so Finn McSorley. Yeah, I think he could definitely hit the board. Let's see, what's our wet turf stats on English Channel? Yeah, 16%. A lot of these are pretty good on the wet turf. Actually, let me.
And I'm never discouraged by similar numbers. Like, you definitely don't want to see the backward. And I say that with, your pick is maybe not the greatest of numbers, but you're also 17 and going to be 30-1. So
yeah. But figure Pratt makes up for some of that.
Tickled Quist. Going to be 7-2, 4-1. Like that's a little discouraging.
Yeah, a little bit. Although 9%. I mean, it's like you have the horse, but yeah, if it's favored, might be a reason to
the impact
maybe bet a little less.
I mean, looks like it should have been more than 9.
Yeah. Right. That's some negative impact there. Yeah. So, I mean, the English Channel is probably the biggest positive impact, right? Plus 23. It is. So that's something. And what that impact is showing is that those horses are outrunning their odds. So basically, English Channels on a turf route that's soft or off or whatever, not only are they winning 15.6% of the time, but they're outperforming their odds by 23%, and that's over 1,000 starts. So that's saying a lot. So so they're going off at 6-1, but they're
Mhm.
winning like a 9-2 or whatever, however you want to put it. They're winning more than their share, 20% more than their share. So I mean, the other thing I like about Finn McSorley, although now I'm starting to dislike as I look at his PPs. Did you notice he's finished sixth 6 times in a row?
I admittedly only noticed that when
So
we started this journey at the first leg of the pick four. We looked ahead. For whatever reason, it didn't register. It was 6 sixes in a row, but it is.
what is there? What do you even say about that? 6 sixes in a row. That's like it's like rolling 6 sixes. Except if it's not a good thing. Instead of 6 ones. No, but I guess in all seriousness, I mean, in these turf races, 12, 12, 12, 11, he's basically splitting the field. To me, like, he kind of needs to run like he did in that first Keeneland race. If he starts off it and kind of comes on at the end, as opposed to like the last race of his at the fairgrounds where he's trying to stay in touch with the field, sitting in third. And it seems like this horse just doesn't have a lot of punch.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Is that fair to say? What about the old Briss LPs? How about if I take a peek at those?
I got them up. I'm about to have them.
Yeah, I mean, as you can imagine, he did show some good closing numbers on a couple of those turf races at 1.1 miles. Man, this 11, wow, they're just really. Is it because it's Walsh and Ortiz and second time out? But like, I don't know. I mean, Kitten's Joy is all right.
Lau, dude, was
there. There's nothing wrong.
I mean, she was a really good turf mare. So the family looks good. She's already had 2 stakes winners, but I mean, Brisnet, that race at Turfway, they have is a super fast pace. So the closing was sort of expected, and it's interesting to me, like looking at the actual pace ratings, she was quick early, just couldn't keep up with what they called a fast pace. I shouldn't say couldn't keep up, but even being that fast wasn't, in touch. The LP is not what you typically associate with a closer. I have to think whoever dropped through the field was probably getting an LP in the 30s or 40s. So that just tells me it was a total fall apart. I can't play him here.
Yeah, that's kind of
turf should. I mean, the Siren Dam are known. We all know what they've done on turf. Or if you don't know about the dam, I'm telling you. But it's still just that was a total setup last time.
Yeah. What about the 9?
2
also
toddies
a good
in.
price
That's a good
here.
name. The old negative Briss rating. Yeah, I didn't. I'm just sort of believing that the 2 races beaten that badly just that doesn't fit. What's your case?
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
What's your case? Back on turf?
What's that? My case? I mean, the 9 does look a little. It's one turf race does look a little similar to the 10. It was a really good race. Actually, they ran the same race, and the 10 ran 6 by 1, and this horse ran 10th by 6. But it was like first time out, and awkward start and far back, and didn't really. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the horse is a little bit unproven. Has a decent work. I was trying to think of a closer here, but maybe that's not.
No, I mean
where I
it's
wanna
hard
go,
for. I mean, in this
talking about
group, it's hard for me to be against anyone. I mean, there's a reason I picked a 30-1 because to me, part of one thing to be interested, but as a public handicapper, when giving picks at the Keeneland site or whatever, for me to actually put on top is definitely saying something about the rest of the field as well. Whereas there are instances where, this is kind of an interesting long shot, but I, in good faith, think, well, if this horse is 4 or 5 to 1, I'd be more excited to bet it, and that's why I'd make that the pick over the bomb. But here, it's like I wasn't excited about any of them. What about Mr. Colossal here? 5 to 1 on the line, not getting any attention.
I know. I was just looking at
And
that.
won't. Like, this isn't a matter of like the will pays are clear. He is going to be 20 to 1 plus.
Yeah, Adam Rice, good trainer. Yeah, just kind of fought the entire way last time at the fairgrounds in a good heat. Comes right back on the turf. Yeah, I mean, I had him, as possibly second. But that's a horse you could definitely play around and key around at 33 to 1. Jeez.
Yeah, I don't get it. And I mean, I'll say, Keeneland's a tough place to make a line with the full fields and short meet. Everyone's coming from everywhere. I empathize with Nick because we go through that at Colonial. But when his line is shorter noticeably shorter than what the public does, I kind of think Nick's the smarter one more often than not, and that's a reason why I'm like, okay, he saw this horse and thought it was going to take this kind of money, not. So that's not a reason where like I'm thinking, oh, I'll add it. Like I didn't have it in my A's or B's, to be honest, but the B's I kept to the short price favorites just to kind of note that they made sense, but just would be too short a price. But man, this 30 to 1 is just too much. I mean, you look at what some of these did last out, just not competitive at all. I mean, he was at least in the frame. It was a slow race, but
yeah, I mean, not bad by any means. And the 1 and the 2, I don't think are, it's a pretty flat board, for some of these, right? I mean, they're not bad.
The 10-6 is coming back 1,200 for $1. So that would, between the pick 3 and that, I think it'd be a winning meet.
Oh, all right. Yeah, let me see what I got going here. Then, yeah, that would be a good hit for sure. Let's see, the pick 3, $19. Not.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I think I have.
Yeah.
I think the super is 2 out of my reach.
Well, do what I do. Key the bombs in 4th. That's more likely.
But who are they?
Anyway.
That's my issue. Is that I'm just not excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always feel like I'm on the wrong side of how to play it when my logical thought of how to play it is basically the inverted. No, not inverted. The pyramid where you're narrow and then spread. And I mean, I'm with you and other smart people. I just think if that's your approach, you're probably, it's probably not an efficient ticket because that's how everyone plays.
Yeah. So the way, I'll just show you here. The way I like to play these supers is, so let's just say, okay, so I like the 3. I like 312. So let's just say I'm going to use them on top. And then it's like, okay, who could run second? Well, the 1, the 2, the 4. And you'll see where I'm going. I don't like the 7 or 11, but I'm just going to use them. Then just kick those same wagers over to third. And then let's just say we like your 10. Well, it's only $6 right now. And then the 6. That's 12. Now you're going to want to put them in third because you're going to kill yourself if they run third and you miss it. Or if they run third and fourth together. So 1440.
Now, wouldn't you?
So for
why wouldn't you put
$14,
the 3 and 12 and fourth in that situation too?
Well, because the 3 is only 6 to 1, and I mean you could, but I actually think he's got to. What I'm going to do is use the 3-12 in first and second. But you're right. I should use. So here's the difference. Okay, I could use the 12 and fourth, and I probably will. But the 12 is a speed horse, right? So if Pratt gets him out, he doesn't get destroyed. It's like he's probably going to be near the front. Once he stops, he's going to be nowhere. So usually what I like to do is play closers for third or fourth, because they tend to run third, fourth, fifth, sixth, like your horse, the 10 that runs sixth every time.
Right.
We just need them to run fourth this time. But it's boggy out, who knows what happens. And that I have a little trepidation on the 6 because he's so much of a kind of a speed horse. But I mean, what the heck? He's 5 to 1 morning line is 33 to 1. Why not? And then who do I not have? The 5. I mean, he's probably worth a use.
The 5.
I don't know.
I mean, I will say Ben Curtis is slick.
He's doing good. Keneally's doing good. And then we talked about the 9, so let's say we don't use him. I'm going to pull up the videos over here so I don't miss it here. But yeah, so I mean, it's just not, the point is it's not that expensive ticket. And the other thing is, look at these tickets. They're king 30 to 1s. So there's no way that these tickets pay nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like you're guaranteed
field. I mean,
that it pays decent.
Yeah.
So
a lot of times
use the 5 and throw
get
it
excited.
in.
They have a 20 to 1 from an 8-horse field in third, and it's like, well, it's really a 6-horse field by the time you get to third.
I'm going to throw the 1 in because it's just such a deep closer. So let's say, all right, I'm going to throw the 12 in too. But it's still only $27. And then I'm going to swap the third and fourth leg, which is probably a bit ambitious with the 10. But I've certainly seen that come back to bite. And then I'm probably going to run out of time, but you can swap first and second. I'm going to swap third and fourth back. And then you've got some different combinations. And usually like what I'll like to do is put, put the top choices, they're about ready to go. So, and they're off. So good luck. But what I was going to say is usually I'll try to do is put, if I'm wishy-washy on my top choices, I'll flip them in first and second.
So
and
what
I'll
did you, let's see what's actually in.
So,
got it.
So Pratt didn't get out. So I think the 7, I don't think much of the 7's chances, I'm sorry, the 12's chances. But 23.5, they might be going all right. So Flo took the 7 out pretty good. The 8's a first timer in second. And we've got the one with Irad showing a lot more speed than previously. And my 3's sitting in fifth, which I think is a great spot. I don't mind that spot at all. Saya's on the maker.
Slowed down that second quarter.
For sure.
Evan's making him no surprise to see him a little closer, I suppose.
Yeah, the 6 is going to put in a little move here to see if anybody can run anyone down.
All that talk, and it's going to be the top 2 choices.
Oh, boo. Yep. Well, I mean, what we said, the turf has been playing front, and yeah, that was Flo. He just went for it, got out there, and
a good
I'm
second.
gonna pick up second, maybe 7-3, 11-4. 6 was fifth.
The 10 was not sixth, I don't believe. I don't know what
you broke a streak. We
should
have had a side
weird
bet on
things.
that.
Like you watch enough races, you look at stuff like that 6 being 44-1. I don't get it.
I mean, once you didn't have a shot to win, though, did it really? But yeah,
I just mean, like, you
didn't
look
see
at
a
others
path.
in the race and how they got bet, and it's like on paper, was he half as likely to win as my 10 or your 12?
No. But
we got some buzz for tomorrow.
Kaying Rising going for 13 of 15 lifetime. Well, man, I can't believe we're saying goodbye to Keeneland already.
The end of the road.
Yeah. Well, cool. And then we turn the page. Opening night tomorrow night. Kentucky Derby post draw. Yeah, and don't forget, Hong Kong tomorrow night, 12:45. 3 Group 1s, so that'll be pretty cool. And thanks to everybody for joining us. It's been fun, and thanks for AmWager for sponsoring. And hope you learned a few things. I learned a lot from you on how to use the Dutching tool, so I'm looking forward to using it more.
Yeah, no, and it's fun. Like, Derby, we have so much going on, but I always try to steal a few minutes. It's really fun in a race like that to just kind of see. I mean, you mentioned, what if you like I always look, what if the back quarter of the field is in the exacta, like what's that paying, basically? The longest 5 choices, or the chalk with the longest 5 choices, and fooling around with that. And it's pretty rare that pull the trigger on something like that, but like I said, you just kind of get geeked about the odds and the market, and it's fun to play around.
Well, it's kind of sobering to really show you what you're dealing with. That's what I like, right? Because it's like, it's easy to say, like, well, I like these 3 and maybe these 4 can run second, and then it's like you feel like you're putting a profitable wager together because you've got some prices in there, but then you see it all blended together and you're like, oh yeah, not so much.
Yeah, you're staring down a 3-1 you're excited about, and you factor in all these exactas or whatever, and you see like you've bumped it up to 4 or 5-1, and spending maybe more money than you would have on a win bet, and it's like,
yeah.
But the opposite too is helpful. Makes you realize, if you're able to get past the logical, that the payouts are that much better. So
for sure.
But I know night racing tomorrow in Kentucky, but for those who be eager to play in the afternoon, Woodbine is back. And I know they're a friend of the AmWager program, so check that out and check us out tomorrow night. Time 11.
I think we're going to come on 11:30.
11:30. There you go.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. Looking forward to it. Every time I do that with Keith, I'll learn more and more about Hong Kong.
How can you not learn when it's with Keith?
Yeah, and I mean, you've got such great fields, and it's such good betting. You know, I definitely want to learn more and get better at it. So, all right. Well, any parting thoughts? Just see how the draw goes tomorrow, right?
Right. Yeah. Draw tomorrow and final preparations in the morning through, I think by Wednesday and Thursday, obviously everything's pretty buttoned up, but can't wait to be a part of it. And I don't think Mage year you did okay.
The what?
Mage year you did okay.
I did really well the Mage year.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, but you know why? It was well, a couple reasons, but hang on. Who was the web slinger? The Cassie horse started off the pick 5.
Yeah.
And web slinger in that race was like 25-1 for some
At
reason.
least, I think. Yeah.
So the pick 5 paid, I want to say it paid like 25,000, and I had it a couple times. So that was good.
All right. Good. Yeah.
Well,
I'm due for one of those.
All right, let's do it.
I like it. All right, everybody. Thanks again for joining us, and back tomorrow for Hong Kong, and I'm sure other stuff throughout.